I don't think it's much of a secret that my favorite colors are yellow, orange and green. I have in the past been successful in creating yellow and orange with one dye source, being onion peels, and I have tried the same for green but failed.
This is the copper mordanted, and then the dye plus the iron modifier on that, and this is just only the iron modifier on the copper. Now I don't think there is much of a change. Here you can see that we have achieved a shade of green. It's not very green, but it's green.
So I think it might be time to let go of the onion peels and try and search for a different yellow base dye source that can give me the green that I want. Now right now there are a couple of plants in bloom that could help me. One, we have Tansy, or its more poetic Dutch name, boerenwormkruid. We also, right now, have a lot of wild carrot. A third plant in bloom at this point of time is yarrow, and I've also spied a flock of goldenrod nearby. It would probably be very sensible to look into my natural dyeing books and try and figure out which of these 4 plants give a yellow that is most akin to green. But where is the fun in that? Nah, I think we're going to use D4 just to decide which of those 4 plants is going to be our base yellow to try and get green today. Well, that's a 2. Today we shall be dyeing with the wild carrot, daucus carota. Oh yes! Before we go harvest our dye plant, I'm going to prepare a morden bath, which later can hold the fluff, so that the fluff can morden, so that it can take up the dye. To do just that, I have put some alum in hot water. I will let it dissolve right now. Now thankfully we don't have to venture very far to find blooming wild carrot. It is just exactly right here in my garden, and it's a big plant. A big plant with tiny visitors. All of these 4 plants would be a great candidate for green, and this is 2 of the greens that can be achieved with wild carrot, and I'm going for this one. So the one where we first morden the fiber with alum, dye it with the plant tops, and then use an iron modifier. This is like this nice olive green that I'm looking for. I really love this color. It comes back often in my wardrobe. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of my favorite green, so I'm really hoping that we get this. And just to show you that I was not talking out of my neck, here are the greens from goldenrod and tansy and yarrow. My alum has dissolved into the hot water, so let's morden our fluff. And today we shall be, okay. Today we shall be dyeing some Hampshire Down fluff. Oh, I can't show you because then the lens fogs up. Okay, different plan. Today we're using Hampshire Down fluff, which is lovely breed with fine crimp, just delicious soft springiness as we like it, and it is also a little bit resistant to felting because it is in the down breeds, which is always a helpful quality if we're dyeing. It's time to make some carrot soup. Oh, Mr. Robsy, come here. I will rescue you. So I put a little caterpillar somewhere on this carrot plant and rushed inside to get my camera, but it's gone. It has already found a new home in this other carrot plant. Hopefully you will turn into a good butterfly or moth, whatever do you think. A wild carrot is actually a plant that can be easily mistaken for something else, including hemlock. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the plant itself. So the wild carrot is a biannual plant and the flowers come in the second year, and the flowers is what makes it mistakable to other plants, because there are quite a bit of plants with like these white umbels, but mostly you will find that wild carrot has in the middle of its white umbel one singular red or purplish flower. Now another thing, that if you are familiar with normal carrots and normal carrot tops, you will just recognize the leaves. This is just, you know, a regular carrot leaf. Like this fern-like leaf is very distinctive. Now also, if you're really not sure, just crush it up. It just smells like a carrot. Very distinctive. This is another plant that you could confuse for wild carrot, but you can see the umbel is completely different. The leaves are completely different. This is yarrow. This would be one of the other plants that we could dye with, and also has a very neat, gorgeous smell, but not carrot. Also, we're not really eating it, so the danger of picking a wrong plant isn't in the hemlock, it's in the giant hogweed. And while my carrot plants are big, you cannot call them giant, and I will put a photo of giant hogweed. Just don't pick that one, because if you touch it and then come in the sun, whowheee, it's not an experience you want to have. Doop, doop, doop. Let's drain these carrots out. The handles are warm. And then let's give this wool the time to take up some color. According to Wild Color, this only needs 45 minutes of simmering. Now, I'm always a little bit skeptical about the time measurements in this book, because I find that sometimes going a little bit longer gives better results. Anyway, I'm going to go by the book this time. It has been 45 minutes. I've taken a little bit of the fluff and put it in a separate pot, and now we're going to add the iron modifier to see if we get that beautiful green. Oftentimes, when I say on this channel that I am looking for a beautiful green, I will get the comment that I will not get a beautiful true green with modifier, and that I should use indigo or woad instead and over dye that with yellow. And while that might be true, it is not something I actually want to do. For me, natural dyeing, the joy in it is just finding plants that are local to me, native to me, something that I can easily pick, spot, determine, and then just chuck in my dye pot and then make beautiful colors out of that. I think that getting out of my way to get indigo or woad defeats the purpose for me. Like, then I could just get acid dye and dye it the shade of green exactly that I want. No, I want the thrill of experimentation, the thrill of hunting for a specific kind of plant. You know that because of this, I have broadened my knowledge of plants. I can like instantly glance at a plant, know what it is, a lot more often, because I have been doing all these creative experimentations with them. I know a lot more plants because of this play. If I were just going to go straight to the solution, then I would miss out on a lot of play, a lot of experimentation, and a lot of beautiful colors that might not have been my intention, but are still gorgeous to look at nonetheless. I know that you want to be helpful, and wanting to be helpful is commendable behavior, but I just want to make actually as many videos as possible on this Search for Green Quests series. Let me play. I just want to play. So it has been a couple of minutes, not too long, because leaving your wool too long in the iron solution may cause it to become brittle. But it has been a couple of minutes, and yeah, I think we can call this green. It's pretty pale green, but then again, wild color also says that if you use wild carrots, the colors might be paler than if you use domestic carrots. Yeah, let's rinse this out and see what the final color. See what the final color of this green is. Here is the first result of the wild carrot and the iron. I say first result because not too long ago I said that I am skeptical about the times that wild color gives. I'm going to leave the rest of my fluff a little bit longer in the wild carrot bath, and then we're going to do this again just to see if the longer time in the wild carrot bath makes a difference for the eventual green. This fluff has been going for an extra 45 minutes, so let's see if it has made any difference. Oh, got no liquid in this one. Water is turning very orange. That might not have been a good iron solution. Anyway, let's leave it for a while. Hopefully this does something. Theoretically, I could end this video here and be like, yeah, this is what daucus carota, wild carrot, does. But, I mean, it's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We could do a second dice roll. That's a 1. Tansy, going for the boerenwormkruid, and I'm very happy that I get to say boerenwormkruid on camera again. Once this is done and we rinse it, we'll go on a little bike ride. Supposedly the green that we get from the tansy plant tops should be darker than the one we get from wild carrot. A first little spot of tanacetum vulgare, also known as tansy or boerenwormkruid. I'm taking the entire plant tops. You can also dye with just the flowers alone, but that will give you a more pastel-y, lighter color. I want full brightness. And while daucus carota smelled very carrot-like, this smells exactly like one of the salves that my physical therapist uses when he massages. Now, if I had rolled for goldenrod, this would also have been one of the spots to pick it. Municipalities and just regularly legislation all over has gone more and more in favor of these, you know, re-wilded borders everywhere. Like, we're next to the canal, next to a road, as you can hear. And the city mows like the sides of it so that it doesn't bother the road or the cycling path, but everything else is allowed to go wild. And I am really for it because it gives me a lot of natural dye sources, it gives the bees a lot of food, and all the other good stuff that comes with letting native plants grow. And well, of course, there will be some non-native plants in there as well, as things tend to happen. More goldenrod over there. A lot of goldenrod, actually. It's good to know. And now, foraging laws in Belgium also allow me to do this. It could be different where you live, but in Belgium, if it is near public road and it is not a forest, it's all free game. And this is public road space, not in a forest. It's also not on private land. Anyways, I foraged myself a nice little gift basket of tansy. I think we shall get back home and use these gifts of nature. The boerenwormkruid has been going for an hour and a half, even though Wild color says 1 hour, but when I checked at 1 hour, I was fairly certain that my plants didn't give up all of their pigment yet. So I think right now at 1.5 hours, yeah, there is no more green on the stalks. I'm going to, yet again, as I did with the carrots, just strain it into the other receptacle, put it back. You know, all the things you do when you have limited space and limited materials. They look depleted. Also, let me tell you, the studio smells very medicinal right now. And that should be no surprise because Tansy is a very medicinal plant. Like, let me tell you what the name boerenwormkruid means. I said in the beginning it was very poetic, but actually it's the opposite of poetic. Boerenwormkruid literally means farmer's worm herb, because it was used as the herb to help farmers heal their cattle from worms. Yeah, that's the meaning of boerenwormkruid. Boerenwormkruid! My wool immediately becomes this highlighter yellow. Whew. Going to leave it be for a while, see how dark and vibrant it gets. But that is so much brighter than the carrot. Oh. It's in there, not even a minute. Wow, what a great green. That's green. Oh, that's green. And this is it, washed and rinsed. Might Tansy be my holy grail? Might this be my recipe for true green? I'm literally already picturing myself spinning a lot of white yarn, dyeing it this color, and then have an entire sweater in this gorgeous green. I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself, but so excited for this color. This is the best green I have ever achieved. The carrot was green, but just look at the difference. Wow. So naturally, I want more. I'm not going to put all of my Tansy dyed fluff in this iron modifier bath, but just a bit more because you see how good this green is, yeah. The highlighter yellow is going into the bath. Now this is the same modifier bath as with the previous fluff, so there might be less iron in it and thus maybe eventually a less dark green fluff, but I would like to see the different shades that we can make. And now also just for comparison purposes, this is the yellow that the carrot tops give and this is the yellow from Tansy. Wow, Tansy is potent! I actually am stunned that this is the very first time that I dye with it, while it is just, yeah, it might be my new favorite dye stuff. Wow, so bright. Anyone ever wants to argue that acid dyes are brighter, that you can't get as bright colors with natural dye? Well, just show them Tansy. Just show them Tansy. This is highlighter yellow. I am not even kidding. And then this is our third color from the Tansy, a lovely spring green. Carrots, Tansy. I think that is quite a successful day in my continued search for the ideal shade of green. I think we're getting close. But I also feel like I kind of have to do the other two, like these two. I kind of have a feeling I just need to do an exhaustive comparison. But for that, I think I will do a part 2. I already think this video is quite long, and you have heard me rave about the color green a couple of times now. But I think I also will have to do yarrow and goldenrod, just to be sure. Just to be sure that nothing tops Tansy when it comes to green. But I'm already so happy with this. Yes, I want an entire sweater with this, so next year, when there is so much Tansy everywhere, I will be a menace and pick not everything, because of course the bees and all of the other insects need their fair share, but I will be a menace and pick so much Tansy and just dye a sweater's worth. Yeah, I'm determined. I'm determined, friends. I wanted this, maybe not a sweater's worth, but at least a vest's worth. Like, yeah. Do you see the vision? It's a perfect heap of moss. I am happy. I hope you are happy. And I think that concludes part 1 of this experimentation to the best dye source for green. If you like these kind of fiber shenanigans, and maybe you could like, comment or subscribe, but of course that is all up to you. And as for me, I will see you in a next video. But before we do that, maybe you could look at some more dyeing shenanigans. Bye!